So, I just click the button, go live. You know, I have this big button on my software here, and it counts down. So, since I posted the thumbnail and the thing on YouTube last night, it shows always like 12 hours, 11 hours, and then it goes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, 0. Yeah. Oh. Let me just turn down the volume here because I can hear myself. There we go. There's lots of changes today. I have new software. They came up with a totally new version, and by mistake, I erased my old one, but that took all the data that I had, all the pictures and everything. And I could have restored it. There is a process, but I decided, you know what? It's good for the brain. Many times I would switch computers or switch operating systems or switch between Android and iPhone just to make my brain work hard, because it feels like you're going to go through a wall at the beginning, but it really kind of flexes your brain, and it's very good. So I decided not to restore everything from the old data, just go with the flow and reinvent everything as we talk. So there you go. Well, I hope everybody has had a great week since last Sunday. I did, in ways that are very unusual, and I'm going to talk about it today. I know that many of the things I'm going to tell you will touch you and will enable you to do many things that look impossible to you. I will inspire you today. And in the process, I'll inspire myself. When they say that the best way to learn is to teach, right? So everything I'm saying today, especially, I'm saying it to myself as well as to you, because in some ways I speak directly from my consciousness, and my avatar, which is not that great, needs to hear these things. This is why I say that you should read to yourself aloud. When you want to improve your reprogram, call it subconscious, or improve your mood, or anything, right? To get out of a dark place, you need to speak to yourself aloud so your subconscious can hear it. And here I'm speaking to myself aloud as well. Hi from Italy, MC. Haven't seen you here before. I said it to my other Italian friends. I love Italy, and I really hope to be there this summer. I miss traveling. I haven't traveled since 2019. And I used to travel a lot. Some years I would spend more on travel than I spent on everything else in my all my expenses combined for the year. I would spend it on one trip. Agafia, I know you're from Italy too. All right, so what do I want to do today? I didn't prepare anything. I just went for a long walk this morning on the seawall, watching the waves and the geese flying. I don't know if they're flying away or flying back because it's getting warmer. But it's amazing walking on the seawall. And there's many birds there, thousands, right? But there is this one crow. And he or she, whatever it is, always comes in my way, like in the same location. And I haven't walked there for a couple of weeks because I was going on the mountain. And today, I recognize the crow because, crows have like two legs and they have those fingers, right? And this crow, I guess he was born that way, his right leg is like that. The fingers are not extended, they're folded. So when it walks, it walks like this with one folded leg and one like that. And, I kind of felt sorry for it, but then I realized, he lives like every other crow. And then one day I saw that he had even a partner. Again, I don't know if it's a male or female, but it had a partner. So I figured, I guess in the crow world, they don't look on deficiencies like that. And this morning, the first thing I saw was that crow, right? Came in my, like, right in my way. And he actually made noises and looked at me and flew behind me and stopped in front of me on a tree or something. Quite interesting. That actually connects with what I'm going to tell you, and I think this is why it happened. I believe in many signs. I believe in signs, not in many signs. Because as I told you, I believe that we are the avatar and we are connected to our consciousness. And in actuality, and I'll make another, my regular disclaimer. Everything I'm telling you is totally subjective, but I believe in it 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you. So just keep in mind that it's totally subjective. I'm not suggesting that that's how it is, or you should believe me or anything like that. You should act according to how you feel about it. So, my teaching is always that there is the consciousness, which is part of the programmer. And I say part because it's probably the whole programmer, but we don't know how it's divided there. So I call it part because there's 8 billion of, well, not 8 billion. There is also the backdrop people. So I guess they don't count in this, what I call the machines. And then there is the avatars, right? And the avatars, there is 8 billion avatars, but not all of them have consciousness. Well, I was always telling you, and I keep telling you that the consciousness has a map, has some kind of an idea what it wants to achieve. And at least after it receives the avatar, because I don't think it knows what avatar it's going to receive. This is a lottery again. But once it receives the avatar, it can tell right away what kind of an avatar it is, because it can see through, right? The thing is that it cannot communicate. We cannot communicate with our consciousness except through the sixth sense. And the consciousness cannot communicate with us the same way. But because the consciousness has, call it a goal, has a, beside the main goal, which is to create as many experiences as possible, it also tries to do something to leave some kind of a mark in this reality. And it's a huge challenge for that consciousness, and this is what it wants, right? Or God, call it whatever. It's a huge challenge because it cannot connect. It's like we are dancing, we, the avatar, with the consciousness, but it's an invisible partner. Like we are dancing with it, but we don't really see it or can touch it. So we have to synchronize our dance just by feelings, by sixth sense. And it's very tricky. And I think this is how it was set up to be that way. And those consciousnesses, which are the programmer altogether, they actually decide the fate of this world. Again, they don't have full control, so this is the challenge, right? But through us, because they can change the world whichever they want, the game there is that they have to change it through us. They cannot change it directly. Otherwise, there would be miracles here all the time, and we would not believe in this reality anymore. We would realize that it's some kind of a simulation or whatever we would call it, right? Now, I'm giving you this whole preamble for a reason, because I'm going to go into my personal situation and my personal beliefs and my personal actions and so on and so on. And I need you to understand that thing with the avatar and the consciousness. That's critical that you understand that. And I know that some of you know it because you are connected. I also want you to know that anything that you manifest or a psychic can see or a priest or a rabbi or a, what do you call the Arabic priest? Forgot for a second. Anything that can happen that we would consider like, more than natural, like above nature, it happens only between you and your consciousness. There is you're not talking to the programmer, you're not talking to God, you're not talking to the angels. This is all how your mind would maybe present it to you. But the only communication you have outside of this reality is with your consciousness. And your consciousness is, like I said, God. So basically, this is it. And your consciousness drives you with the sixth sense, and through the sixth sense, it makes you sick, makes you healthy, it causes all kinds of problems. Or sends that crow on the seawall. It can do all these things, but not directly. It cannot connect with you directly. It can send all kinds of things in this reality, move things, change things, but it cannot. And the conclusion I came to, and I'll tell you why, and it may take a little bit longer today than normal before I get to your questions. And yeah, I see you all on the display here. When I bring the comments on the screen, they may not look that great because I didn't have time to program it to be in green actually, I'll try to bring one and see what happens. Jordan? Yeah. Okay, it looks different, but it doesn't matter. Again, remember I told you it's all subjective, right? I believe that my consciousness is one of the highest there is, but my avatar is probably at the very low level. So there is this huge gap, right? And I'm striving to go higher, and I'm sure my consciousness needs me to get higher. And since I was a child, I received these crazy messages, which, I didn't know where they come from. And through my whole life, I continuously experienced what one would call miracles, and I received knowledge and information that there's absolutely no way I could have unless it came from my consciousness. But without going into details, the bottom line is, again, the way I believe it, is that my consciousness actually wants to change this world. Not once, it's going to change this world. And its only struggle is with this avatar, right? And you see what happened. I'll tell you a few things, how I got here and where I am now and where I want to be and where I need to be. And where you are in this whole thing. Back in 2009, I may have said that before, but I don't think so, maybe. I am a very, relatively speaking, very healthy person. I never took any medications. I don't have any issues. I'm never smoked, never did anything. And in 2009, it was a period where I was like a sponge. I really wanted, I was in the position to basically embrace anything and make it into my religion, into my belief, because I felt that I need to change the world, right? And at that time, I visited Israel a couple of times that year, 2009, and I met this person that was a really, really genius in Kabbalah. He wasn't religious at all, but he was amazing in Kabbalah. And I went to some of his lectures there. And when I came home, that was New Year's Eve. So it was the 31st of December, 2009. And that day I went up on the mountain. I felt really great and everything. And I came home. And because I don't do anything on that night, like I don't celebrate or anything, it's New Year's, it's all nice. But I don't go to any parties or drink or do anything. So I decided to go and watch one of these Kabbalah person's videos. At that time, the internet wasn't that advanced, but I could watch his video, and I wanted to watch his most powerful video. It was about practical Kabbalah, which means it teaches you actually how to create miracles in the physical world. And, I sat in front of the computer that was close to midnight, and I got a stroke. I lost my vision. My vision went, if any of you remember the old TVs where the picture would get all scrambled, like the bottom would go to the top. And this is what happened in my vision. Like everything got scrambled in front of me. And I knew it was a stroke. Somehow I knew for sure. So I climbed, I crawled upstairs on there because I was in the basement, and my son was home, and I said, call an ambulance because I had a stroke. And during this time I couldn't see. Anyway, to make a long story short, it's a story on my screen here. A miracle happened at the hospital. Again, I don't want to go into details. We don't have the time. But I came out of it. I still have a very tiny blind spot in my vision. It's not in any eye because it comes from the brain. The vision center is right here. But it's invisible. Unless I focus on a white screen, I can see it. There is a blind spot there on the top right. But the bottom line is, my understanding was that was actually to take me out of that Kabbalah thing. Because if I would have gone into the Kabbalah at that time, this is all I would have, I would believe that Kabbalah is everything, that all the answers are there, and I would not seek any more answers. And my consciousness decided to get me out of it. And it's funny because the thumbnail of that video was that person standing like this with his hand, like saying, don't come here. I only realized that after. And after that stroke, I didn't get any medications. I didn't get any treatment. Nothing happened, because once I realized that this is the reason, I was not worried. Even though at the hospital they told me that I have like 60-70% chance to get another stroke that will kill me, because that blood clot is going to travel into the brain, because the vision part is just the entry to the brain. And I wasn't worried, because I received this knowledge that this was just to get me out of the Kabbalah. Anyway, why am I telling you this story? I wrote actually something I will tell you now that I never probably told you, and I'll also put a link in down here so you can watch it. I have a blogs website that I was writing on between 2016 and 2020, and then I stopped. I only wrote a couple of articles, but there is close to 100 short articles or things that I wrote in there. And one of the things I wrote there is called The False Treasure. Let me see if I can bring it. I did prepare the software here so I can look at websites. So there we go. Let me insert myself in here if I can. I'm getting good with this software. Huh? So what you see here is my website. It's called analysisofexistence.com. And there you go, Vadim Zeland, Hebrew, who is Shlomo, but there is lots of articles here. And the one I want to show you is called, and I'll tell you the story very quickly. Whoops, I think didn't like that. My software didn't like me dragging that thing down. So let's see if I can recover here. No, that site is gone. Okay. I have no idea how to bring it back. So anyway, I'll tell you the story. That was a bug in the software. It was only made public yesterday. It was a beta up until yesterday. So I guess there is a problem there. I wrote a story about some rich guy, an American guy. He found a map that was drawn by some pirates 300-400 years ago. And on the map it showed a treasure. And it showed where it is, and it said what island it's on, and so on. So that person decided to go and look for it. He had the money, so he actually bought a big yacht, and he hired a crew, and he got all the equipment and tools, and they went. And give me a second here. There we go. And they went to dig for the treasure. Okay, I'm just looking at your comments to make sure that nobody says that you cannot see me or you cannot hear me. uh, so they went and they started to dig, they started to look. And after about a month, they hit this big steel box. It was all rusted, and they, wow, they were so happy. They pulled it out, and sure enough, they opened it, and diamonds and gold and stuff. Anyway, it ended up having something like $5 million in value. So they had the champagne, and they loaded the thing on the ship, and they left. What they didn't realize was that particular case was not actually the treasure. It was some bad pirate that stole, from the real treasure and hid it for himself. The real treasure was another 10 or 20 feet from there, and it was worth about $5 billion. But they never got to it because they got sidetracked by this false treasure. Call it false, right? And Kabbalah for me was exactly the same thing. Fortunately, I didn't get stuck there. So there you go. So you see, back in those days, 2009, 2010, or before that, so we're looking now at 15, 13 years, right? I received basically, again, this is not something I received like in a fax or an email, but I received it through my sixth sense. I received basically all the information I need to know about the universe, about God, about reality. And I also received hints what I'm supposed to do with it. Okay? And I started doing it because if you look at my first videos, I started the book from nothingness to infinity, chapter 1, and then I did the 4 boundaries, and if you listen, especially to chapter 1 of that book, you will probably not connect me with the person that speaks there because it's all about God and what happened, even though I was always warning everybody and I could see myself maybe getting sidetracked, I actually got sidetracked big time. And all the things that I'm teaching you actually happened to me because my consciousness started to hit me. I got 3 things that looked like, certain cancer, for example. They all turned out not to be. But then I got the heart issue, and then I got this, and I got hit with lots of, and the reason for it, again, from my perspective, is because I got sidetracked. I was supposed to come and change the world, and I had an outline how to do it. But then I ran into that smaller treasure, which is still a treasure. I started to work with people. I started to work with corporations as a consultant, and I became very busy, very successful, call it, especially on the corporate side. And without even noticing, I basically abandoned. I stopped doing this other stuff. I got into the practical stuff, right? I got Talk for Life, and now I got Higher Strategy, Solutions, and so on. And I got, it's exciting. I love people. I love helping people, and I'm still an avatar. That's why I'm saying I'm not that great an avatar for my consciousness, but in the last 3-4 months, since they told me about my heart thing, which, by the way, doesn't affect me. I'm still kind of in a limbo, but doesn't affect me physically. I do everything what I was doing before. Like I don't have any symptoms or anything. Just the knowledge is there. But I almost stopped completely doing what I'm actually supposed to do. And as a result, I got all these problems, and I also got into a really bad, like I told you, back in November, December, I was really in a dark place. It was very hard for me even to do this video. I had to really kick myself to come here and be alive. But since then, once I I guess that knowledge got downloaded to me because I realized exactly what happened. Even though it was clear, I should have realized, but I didn't. Right? It's easy. It's easy to guide somebody else, but very hard to guide yourself. That's why I like to help people, because I can help them in areas they cannot help themselves. They don't see it. And yeah, so now I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And I think this journey that I went through over the last few months actually is very good in many ways, because sometimes if you are inside something, you don't see it. So I didn't manage, I actually, I pulled myself out of the thing, and now I can see it from outside. So it's much clearer to me. The whole picture is much more, clearer, and I understand that much better. So what I want to tell you in summary about this whole thing, let me see if I can bring that site again. I don't know. No, he won't show it. All right. Let's see, my Zoom works. Yeah. What do you like better, to see me like this or like this? Let me know. The thing is, like I said, that every miracle or every psychic phenomenon that exists in this world, in this reality, is between you, the avatar, and the consciousness. There is absolutely nothing else that's involved at that level. That's why in Kabbalah you have those 10 levels, Sephirot they call them, and there is a big gap between us and the programmer, which is kind of the consciousness that everything is part of it. And we cannot really, even technically, we cannot talk to that consciousness. It's just not structured that way. So what I want to tell you also, and don't jump on it too fast, but I know, I think that I alluded to it a few times in my videos, is that when I'm in a certain mood, like today, I can actually change reality, and I can change reality for people. And if you really are at the spot where you need help, then come and connect with me, because I can do things that you would consider miracles. All right. So what am I going to do now? I am going back, as you know, I kind of started few things and I never finished or continued them. Like I started the book and I never, many people are asking, where is the book? Where can I buy it? Where can I see it? And I also started the book kind of in chapters, and I did chapter 1. And then I did this 4 boundaries. And there I said that I'll have 2 more parts after the 4 boundaries. And let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about, because I have the slides from that video, which is here online. It's called, I think, the 4 boundaries of our reality. You should actually look at it. It's quite amazing. I'm trying to get I'm a little bit too white here. The sun came out. Let's see if I can show you this thing. Yeah. All right. So if I do share screen here. Oh, there we go. Zoom in the screen using the scroll gesture. Once you have zoomed, position the screen using the scroll gesture while holding down. Okay. I don't know exactly what it's telling me here, but I hope you can see it. Let me just move myself a little bit out of here. So here is the 4 boundaries. Basically, what I was talking about here is you have if you see on top is your consciousness, which is out of our reality. Then basically it's in the infinity, it's of the universe, it's out, it's past that infinity, it's nothingness. And then there is you, the avatar here, which is in the reality, which has 4 walls. On the top, it has the infinity of the universe, which you can never penetrate. It has the infinity of the smallest, which is the quantum world, and you cannot penetrate it either because you will always, the science will always find the smaller component. And then there is, on the left, there is the boundary of left and right. There's the boundaries of time, right? You are born on the left where it says birth, and then the time, you walk on the timeline here. The time is not moving. You walk over on the time because things change. And then there is death, and you can never pick beyond that wall either. So basically there's 4 walls here, and you can never pick out of those walls. Anyway, so I'll show you the slide that I showed in there. Not that one. I want to show you, this was my plan from nothing to infinity. And I said, video 1, this video, we explain the components of our reality. And this is the video that you just saw the slides from, and it's posted. And then video 2, I said, it will be all the big questions of our existence asked and answered. How and why did it all start? By what or whom? What was the master plan and where are we today? Why is there a secret of creation and what makes the trigger? And then there is video 3, the secret. So the video 3, more or less, I posted, because if you look at there is 2 parts of the video called the infinity paradox. That's basically number 3 that's listed here. But number 2 is not there. So I'm going to do number 2 right now. This will be my next video. Okay? And yeah. And I'll tell you, okay, let me come back here. Is there anything else I want to show you here? Okay, well, this is, there's a few slides in here that, you should actually watch the video, but there's a few things here that I want to show you, okay? So the first one is that when you talk to somebody, it doesn't matter if it's over the phone or over WhatsApp or over Zoom. There's 2 channels that you talk to that person on. There is this channel at the bottom, channel 1, where it's the physical connection that you have, right? You speak and they hear you and all that, or they see you. And then there is another channel, I call it channel 2, where you are connected through your 6th sense to that person. This is actually the more important channel. And whatever you feel at that time, you may actually tell the person, I love you, but if inside if you hate that person inside and you are just saying it, then through channel 2, they will sense it, or their consciousness will know it, and it will come back to them. And the way it works is like that, you see. If you have positive thoughts, so it goes up to your consciousness, right? And then your consciousness connects to the other consciousness on the right and comes back to that other person, and they sense it. Okay, I'm just showing you a few things from the video. You can watch the video, it's there. Now, as far as for the reality transurfing people here, is that you see the avatar, when it has a goal, it can do it in 2 ways. It can either do it here, say done here, and this is called inner intention, so you do it physically, or you can send it to your consciousness, and then it will be done through outer intention. This is where all the miracles happen. Okay? I'm not going to go now into details how and what, but I just just want to show you. Okay, this really you should watch in the video. It's not for now. And here is the birth and death, and once the avatar dies, you cannot create new experience anymore. But your consciousness obviously stays. It's up there. It never dies. Now all the consciousnesses, at that time it was 7.8 billion, now it's 8 billion. Together, basically, they make up God. See if I can delete one there. That was actually a video, so the pictures you see there is the camera when I was talking inside that video. But I kept the slides. All right, and here I'm talking about that secret that God stored the trigger inside this reality, and once we pull that trigger, then the reality will change, because God will kind of wake up and become God again, because right now it's just part of our reality, it's playing the game with us. Or it was. I think now it's not the case anymore. All right, so let me come back to myself here. Oh, I need to remove the screen sharing. Okay, there we go. This is confusing because this is not Zoom, but it has many similar functions. All right. One more thing I'll tell you, and again, I will reiterate that this is all subjective, how I believe it to be, is that, when I talk about the trigger and all these things, for the reality to change, you know how I told you many times that nobody predicts anything, not even the prophets. They actually make it happen. There's no such thing as predictions, except short term when it's already on somebody's mind. They're going to execute something. You can predict it if you can get into their mind. And psychic people can. So they can predict short term things that are going to happen in the next day, week, or whatever is already planned and ready to be executed in people's mind. That can be predicted, but nothing beyond that. Everything else is basically like when prophets talk about things, God tells them to say certain things in the Bible. God actually tells them, look, you say it and it will happen. Or at least this is the intention. They may not even know it. Because in this physical world, in order to make something happen, you have to start with a physical action. And I told you that many times too. So I believe that in order for those changes that I know are supposed to happen, I actually have to bring them out here. Like I have to say them. And that was actually the original reason why I started the YouTube channel. And then, like I said, I got sidetracked. And I will do that. So you may see another Shlomo again in the next, not on my Sundays, but in my videos. Because on Sundays, I'm here for you. I'm not here to preach my philosophy so much, even though today I had to basically, like I said, I was speaking to myself too, to reinforce so I don't get sidetracked again. Okay, so now back to you. And by the way, our focus group, we have I think around 35 people or so that signed up. And we will start on Zoom next Sunday. I will do it at 12:30 my time, because I looked on this global time. There is a program. I actually have it in the link on last Sunday's video. I'll copy it to this Sunday as well. And that looked to be the best time, because you cannot there is no time where everybody is awake. But this was the time that covered the most countries in the world. And I chose, I picked that time at 12:30, even though it's a little bit tight because it's right after the live video. But that's okay. I'm already have the momentum, so I'll just continue. And I think it will be very interesting because you will be able to speak rather than just write comments here. And I think we will take it much higher in that form than we can do on this video, which is kind of a one-way, like 80% one-way. So again, if you want to, I will show you again my new website that has all the information. I hope this one doesn't crash. So this is the site. And if you go to join our focus group, let me activate there we go. So if you go to join our focus group, this is the form you're going to fill. It's basically asking you for your name, email, phone number. You don't have to, any of this information is not mandatory except your email and your name, because I need to send you the link for the Zoom meeting. Time zone is helpful because it helps me to plan the times. A few words about yourselves, blah, blah, blah. And there is also a possibility here for you to upload your picture or any document you wish. You can just drop it on this where it says choose file, or just choose file on your computer. And why your picture would be helpful? Well, maybe I can change your reality for you. So this is this. I also want to show you there is an entry here said that problem is that this, it covers my these popular topics here, which I would like you to have a look at. This is on the same site. So the same link, if you go to home or look in the menu, these popular topics. And this actually is very good if you read it before we have our Zoom meeting, because you may pick something here. It will give you some ideas what you want to talk about, because I would say that at least half of these topics are relevant to you. And those topics I actually offer to people that sign up for my, I offer 2 programs here. One a 4-week program, 4 meetings, and one a 12 weeks program with 12 meetings. And those are just suggested topics we can talk about. So there is who drives you. I'm talking about the personality, self-confidence, the age crisis. I find that many, like I've spoken now to more than 1,000 people, and I find that many are running into this age crisis, either 40 or 50, and they feel that, oh, my life is almost over and I haven't done anything, and it puts them really in a bad spot. So I made that into a topic. All these topics here, there's 13 of them, are basically from my experience talking to people. This one here, Progress Not Perfection, is actually a video on TED, which I highly recommend you watch. It's very, very good. See, if you click on it, you will see how to achieve ambitious goals. Stefan Daniel text, TEDx, Tuscan, whatever, how you spell it. Okay, I don't know how to go back on this form because I'm actually not on the internet. I'm showing it to you through my broadcasting software. So anyway, I managed to go back. So those are the topics, and look at them before our meeting. The blaming game we talked about last week. And I didn't forget at the beginning, actually, the title of the video, I was talking about the line on the iPad. And I want to show it to you again because it's very relevant to everything I was just saying about reality and how it's created. Okay, there's also here a business section. So any of you want to discuss business things, I have a lot of experience. I built more than 50 companies and structured them, all public companies. So, if you need any help, those are the topics that I offer here in the business section. And this video I haven't posted yet, but I will. So when you click on it, you will see a video. I just took one of the videos from YouTube just as a placeholder, whatever you call it. All right. So let's go back. And what I wanted to show you, when I just said earlier before that iPad line, I think this is very important that you understand the concept, even though you probably saw it. I talked about it in at least 2 or 3 videos, but it's very relevant to everything I spoke about right now, so I want to show it to you again. All right, so let's go to my iPad. I hope it works. Like I said, I erased everything, so I had to restructure this whole. Okay, there we go. So the line I'm talking about is, you see this, actually I should have show it to you through the camera, but it doesn't really matter. You see what you are looking at right now is the screen on my iPad, okay? And it's in a program that I can draw on it. That's all it is, right? There you can see on top I can choose, or here I can choose the color, the pen, eraser, whatever I want, right? And what I want to show you here, look, I'm drawing a line on it, right? I just drew a line. And the classical question I'm asking, I'm saying, did I draw that line? And most people say, of course, it's right there, it's red, you just drew it. And I say, no, I didn't draw the line. What happened here was that I took that pen, you see, I have a pen, belongs to the iPad, and I drew that line with that pen on the screen, but I didn't really draw the line. The screen, the pen has no ink in it, it doesn't have anything. If I show it to you right here, you won't focus on it, but anyway, it doesn't have ink or anything. All I did, I just marked, I went through those sensors that are built into this screen. There's probably 1 million pixels there that are connected to the central processing unit, the computer of the iPad, and that central processing unit, CPU, right, is picking up what dots I was touching with that pen, and in return, it puts very tiny red dots there that look like a line. So I didn't really draw it, right? The computer drew it. I just told the computer to draw it in that spot. And our reality is exactly the same way. You see, everything you do in the physical world is you draw a line like that, okay? And that line is going to your consciousness, okay? It goes to your consciousness. And your consciousness, in return, send you a reality. And this is your reality. So you don't create your reality directly. Just like I don't draw on the screen. You see, your reality comes from your consciousness, and you are the one that sends the information to your consciousness what reality you want. Now you may ask, okay, so why can't I send an information where I got $100 million and 100% health and I never get old and I never die? So I'll give you two answers for that. First of all, there are rules in this reality that you cannot break. Nobody can. One of them is the longevity. It's 120, end of story at this stage. And the second one is that line you draw is a combination of your heart and your mind. That's why in reality transurfing it says that you have to unite your heart and your mind, because what you send to your consciousness is a combination of the two. And each one of them has a veto. So if your mind wants $100 million and your heart meaning your emotional side, right? Your whatever you want to call it, your soul, your emotional, your left side of the brain, your subconscious, all these things together. If that says, hey, you cannot get $100 million, you know that, like why are you even asking for it? Am I being stupid or what? Or it says, I don't really want to have $100 million because it will change my life. Whatever, if it resists, then it's not going to be included in that line. So the line sent to the consciousness will not have that request. And this is why you cannot manifest very easily. You can, but it's not very easy because it's very hard to overcome that subconscious heart that has a veto over what you want. And that's why people, and again, I'm repeating myself here, but that's why people that have no heart, or call it background people, and I always refer to Hitler or Stalin or many others that still are alive, say Donald Trump, or the guy from Korea, North Korea, right? They don't have a heart. So for them, whatever the mind wants to manifest, it actually happens because there's nobody there to veto it. Okay? All right. Why am I telling you this? Is it will be easier for you to understand everything I said before. And I highly recommend you to revisit those two videos. Actually, there is a preface of the book, and then there is chapter 1, and then there is the 4 boundaries, which I did a year or so later. And for that one, I'll do the second part very soon, because I'm going back to my roots now, and hopefully will change the reality for everybody, because this is really what I'm here for. All right. Wow, I talked almost for 50 minutes. Let's go now to your comments. I don't know how to bring them on the screen, but I had a scene like that, but now they are gone. So let's see, maybe I can. Let's see here in overlays. Animated overlay, new text overlay, camera overlay, screen share overlay, hide all scenes. Widget, maybe it's in the widget, let's see. Okay, oh no, widget is for an URL, so that's not gonna be here. All right, I'll just bring one at a time. So here is the most important one. Like I said, hello, Sami, Agafia, Chris, Tiffany, what a smile. Manuela, you are holding in Romania there this guy, they arrested this American guy supposedly that was trafficking women or something, like really a bad guy and his brother. They're holding him in Romania. Probably a good thing. Somebody caught up to him. MC from Italy. Jordan Sylvester. I'm trying to look at your picture. You're a serious guy. You're trying to be a high achiever. But you're not completely successful in that. But you are trying. That's good. This is just reading your picture, so. Krasavica, elegantaja. Art Jones, I haven't seen you here before. Teach me, how can I become rich? I'm so broke at the moment. How do I get to become financially free? It's the most popular question on the internet, you know? If you stop looking for money, you will become financially free. As long as you are totally focused on becoming financially free and rich, it will be very hard for you to get there. You have to let go. You have to let go and think how to provide something to people that they will be willing to pay for it. That's the only way you're going to make money. Well, maybe if you talk to me, I'll tell you more, but you know, this is not the forum here. I don't have a picture of you, so I cannot really see. All I see is that somebody showing the middle finger there in your thumbnail. And this is really not the proper attitude to make money. It's the opposite, right? Because you cannot tell, you know, I don't give a shit about anything, because you do give a shit about everything. So change that attitude. Roger, good day. Roger. Petula, how are you, Petula? You know, when I read your name, I can see your picture. It's crazy. I see your printed name here, and I see in my mind, I see your picture. Roger, make sure to hit the like button so that we can help spread awareness to others. Oh, thank you. Not only that, you should share. You should bring more people here, because it's permanently about 50 people. It used to be 80 before, but now I see that live, the ones that comment, is around 50 right now. Oh, I see that somebody just signed up for the group. Okay. Greetings, thank you. Toan, love infinity paradox explanation and many other explanations. Have a great day to Shlomo and all. Thank you. Greetings from Maryland. Don't be sorry, just don't do it again. I'm kidding. Last week I said there are no facts in the dual universe, and I remember that, to leave before I could explain, but since you asked, okay, so I'm going to explain. Sean, I haven't seen you at the Kollel yesterday, or in the last few weeks. What happened? Say hello to your parents. I haven't seen them in ages, but I can never forget them. Great people. And so are you. You are actually a combination of the two of them, so you are even greater. Hello, Danielle. Your smile is like the sunshine. Okay, Roger. I'm referring to the idea that everything has two sides. Okay, the polarization. Happy, mad, good, bad, yes, no. Okay, it's all a matter of perspective and depends on what point of consciousness you are in. Of course, it's, this is how it is. And if we didn't have this polarity, we would not be able to reference anything. We would not know what is hot and what's cold, what's good and what's bad and what's love and what's hate. We would basically be kind of like a boat with no rudder, or an airplane with no tail. Doesn't fly very far. As we know, consciousness creates reality. This means that present affects the future and the past. You cannot affect the past. The past is gone. The only way you can affect the past is create a new future, okay, that looks like that past but modified. But you cannot recreate the past. Nobody creates the past. Truly nothing can be said for creation. Okay, that part I don't understand. Every truth is a half-truth. Every paradox can be reconciled. Wow, that's deep philosophy, I would say every truth is around 57%, not half. I'm just joking. Earlier today, I realized your video when you were telling the NYE. What's that, New York? Oh, I guess my mind is not working, not focusing here, but I don't remember what NYE is. Oh, there's another person that just signed up for the group. Nice. Coming in clear. Thank you, Daniel. I like sevens. You know that in the Torah, the number 7 appears the most from everything else that appears there, except the name of God and maybe Moses. But number 7 is the most popular number. You know, 7 days, 7 days of the week, and like everything is 7. It's crazy. May I ask, what is wrong with your heart? Oh, well, back in June, what happened, I had irregular heartbeats that lasted for a few hours, so I decided to go to the hospital and see why my heart was all of a sudden going very fast. It never happened to me before. And they did all kind of tests, and they found that my arterial, what is it called? One of my valves does not close completely, and there is leakage. The blood leaks back into where it comes from, like. And at that time they told me that I need to have open heart surgery to get it fixed. And since then, you know, like I said, it's in a limbo. Like I don't have any symptoms, nothing. But apparently it's there. It's an inherited thing. It's not doesn't come from anything that I do or I don't do. It's supposedly, apparently, 5% of the population has this this kind of a defect in that valve, but only a small percentage of those develop a leak, which I did. So this is what's wrong. But like I said, it doesn't affect me. I can run 10K right now and I'll be fine. So we'll see. Like I said, this came because I just strayed from my way, from where I'm supposed to be. So hopefully now it will get fixed one way or another. You are very welcome. Roger, I love you too. I love you all. You know, I feel so excited coming here at 11, sitting down when it says, you know, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, boom. I'm so excited. You know, I used to be very stressed in the first 10, 20 videos because it's like, whoa, I'm sitting in front of all these people, and what am I going to say now, right? And I don't even have notes anymore. It's crazy. And it's probably the best that way. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, we will make lots of miracles, Daniel. Don't worry. Thank you, Tiffany. So grateful time you take to show. You are all very welcome. And like I said, I enjoy it probably more than you do. And I once said to, actually I say it on my site, I said if people knew how much I enjoy talking to people, they probably be asking me to pay them. Well, this meeting is going to start tomorrow. And it will be very interesting because, you are all great people. I don't want to put labels and percentages, but I'll tell you something that, in my opinion, the people that come here and connect is probably like 0.00001% of the top of humanity. Again, it's my subjective opinion. Kevin! Oh, you watched that video? Good. Yeah, it's very good. It's quite old. I think it's 5 years old, but he's very, very good. The way he explains these things. Yeah, I love that video. You are very welcome, Manuela. Isabel, how are you? Can you tell us very shortly how to reprogram that emotional side so we can manifest the reality? Well, the thing is that you cannot reprogram, you see. You can do things that will subconsciously reprogram it, Colette, but you cannot go and reprogram. It's not, you have no access to it. So, you can write things down and read them to yourself aloud. That will influence your subconscious. You can do things that will I'll give you an example. Let's say that your subconscious is afraid of spicy foods because you feel that it causes you some reaction in the throat and then you cannot breathe because it happened to you once and it got programmed in your subconscious. And you know what? You will stay away from spicy foods like poison, because every time you see a spicy food or anything, you will start to feel that thing that you are choking, right? But let's say that was just a one-time occurrence, and then for lifetime you're not going to eat spicy. But let's say you decide, you know what, I'm going to try it again, and you eat something spicy and nothing happened, and then you eat something spicy again and nothing happens. So what did you do now? You reprogrammed your subconscious, because from now on, all of a sudden you will have no problem eating spicy. So use that metaphor to reprogram your subconscious. Like, take that and apply it to other things. And this is how you can change it and reprogram it. There's no other way. You cannot reprogram it by talking to it, thinking about it, climbing the wall, or banging your head on the wall. That's not going to help. Thank you. One of my best friends is in Porta Viagra right now. He sent me a whole bunch of pictures this morning. He's having lots of fun there. Sun and dancing on the street. Yeah, I used to have actually what do you call it? Timeshare in Mexico for many years. In Mazatlan, I think. I don't remember. Great people. You know, Mexico is like Israel. It has the worst people and the best people. Israel is the same way. It's got the best people in the world and the worst people. And this is what makes it so kind of exciting, right? Interesting. Because when you have people that are in the middle, maybe Canada is a little bit like that, then it's nothing exciting. Everything is predictable. Greetings from Oregon. Greeting from Sydney. Wow, Sharon. You know, we have, actually I have at least 4 or 5 clients in Sydney and Melbourne. I don't know if you know, but if you drive all the way up north, you get to that rainforest there, at the very, very tip of Australia, the northeastern tip. Daintree, I think it's called. I've been there at least 5 times. I love this whole area. Australia is an amazing place. Amazing people and amazing nature. Unbelievable. Reminds me a little bit, some parts, the desert reminds me of Israel. It's very, very similar, the kind of plants and stuff that, the camels. Hello, Lori. Yeah, New Year's Eve. That was New Year's Eve, yeah. But that was 2009. Wow, what a coincidence, Manuela. You know, Manuela, you are very, very connected with my consciousness. Well, you know that. I don't have to tell you. Sweet Shlomo. I'm going to look at the mirror as soon as I finish this broadcast. I like to see Sweet Shlomo. Michael. Expand on aligning heart and mind towards something you want to achieve. Letting go of wanting that something and taking great action towards that something. I'll make it simpler for you, Michael. As you know, and everybody knows, the simplest and most powerful metaphor in reality transurfing is when Vadim Zeland says that in order to achieve something, you have to make it as simple. And if you think about it, it's not just simple, it takes away the importance, everything. He says that it has to be equivalent to you getting up in the morning and going to your post box. He doesn't call it mailbox in the book, he calls it post box, picking up the newspaper and coming back home. So if you can manifest something to make it that simple in your mind, just like going to get the post, then it will happen. But it has a lot. There's many implications here. It sounds very simple, right? But what he's basically saying, first of all, there's no importance. When you go to pick up the newspaper, there's no importance in your mind Well, he's just picking up the newspaper. What's the big deal, right? You know that it's achievable. Like there is no blockages. Hi, Itamar. New Year's Eve. Yeah, Itamar actually came to the hospital like a few minutes after I arrived there. Yeah, that's Itamar. One of the greatest guys I ever met. He's pretending not to be spiritual, trying to run into the physical world, but I don't think it works that well. Right, Itamar? Okay, let me go back to that expand here. I don't want to lose my... so it means that there is no importance in it, right? Because you go to get the newspaper. It means also that when you get the newspaper and you read it, there's nothing special there where your subconscious, your heart may say, oh, you know, we don't want to get the newspaper because we're going to read about this news. There's no such thing. Like, you know, you're just reading the newspaper. So all the components are there. Importance is not there. It's believable. Your subconscious does not come in the way and say, oh, there's no way you're going to get the newspaper, you know, because there's 27 scorpions on the way, right? There's no such thing, so it's no problem. And the third thing, which is as important, your subconscious doesn't have a problem with you having the newspaper because many of the goals that you're trying to manifest, your subconscious say, you know what? Even if we get it, we don't really want to be there. I don't want to have $100 million because it's going to drive me crazy. I read about all these people that won the lottery and ended up, in a mental institution. I don't want to be there. That will block it. But getting the newspaper doesn't have that. So use that metaphor from reality transurfing about getting the post. And if you can bring it, the closer you bring your desire to this kind of neutrality, the more chances there are you will be able to manifest it. So I hope I answered that question properly for you, or at least helpfully. Yeah, Andrew Tate. Yeah, I don't remember names. Hardly, I meet people, I can't remember their names. But yes, this is who I meant, Manuela. Yeah. New Year's Eve, okay, NYE. I never heard that before, so that's why I didn't know what it is. It looked to me like New York City, but I realized it's not. Okay, thank you, Itamar. Now I understand. Witty Mystic. Wow. I always look at your thumbnail here and you look very angry at the world, like, hey, I am going to get my way. The hell with everybody. I am going to get it. Just looking at your picture. It's like, you really have a strong mind. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just saying what I see. That's funny. You mentioned the entry. I went there and got sick. It was also a warning to change path. I was just thinking about it when you were talking about the reason your issue. Well, you see, we are all connected in that all the subconsciouses are connected. And when I think about something, it actually goes to everybody. And I'll give you another example. Many times when somebody invents something or somebody comes with a new concept, all of a sudden there is another bunch of people in the world that come up with the same thing. And the reason is because they bring it down from the consciousness level to the avatar level. And then once it's here, everybody can access it. So this is why when we think about stuff, other people can actually, they think about the same thing. And all this deja vu, all those coincidences, all those, you call it synchronicity, all that happens because the consciousnesses, right, are all connected. Eddie, I was looking at your picture you sent me yesterday on the focus group. Reminded me of this smile you have. It's an amazing smile. There's no picture here, but Do you have any advice on how you can get frequent signs, guidance from your consciousness? I would say the best way is to empty your mind, because consciousness is trying to send you signals and signs all the time. The problem is you block it, not consciously, but you block it because your mind is stuck somewhere else. And your mind, your brain can only deal with one thing at a time. So when you multitask, you actually chop the time into little sections and you jump from one to another. It's just like a computer, it's a CPU. It cannot do two things It does one and then does another one, but does it very quickly, so it looks like it's multitasking. So when you are stuck in some other thoughts, and you are a deep thinker, I know that because we communicated quite a bit, you don't open yourself to your consciousness to actually communicate with you. So try to calm down, because as calm as you look inside, you always in thoughts. So that's the answer I can give you. Thank you, Manuela. Zach Camarachi. Hi, many thanks. I think we can feel good by about thinking, but for a long time again, you need to take action. Transurfing is, just a minute, what does it say here? Is bullshit, sorry. Look, I'm not going to argue that. I don't think that transurfing is bullshit from the aspect that it has many good ideas, regardless of, the manifesting part. I think that it's a good philosophical, it kind of expands your mind with the pendulums and the different realities. Like it makes you think. And this is, I think, the biggest value in reality transurfing. It's not some kind of a book of formulas. Okay, this formula number 7, I'm going to get, a kilo of gold. It doesn't work like that. Persian princess. Wow. That's very powerful. Actually, I met this morning somebody who is a Baha'i. I don't know how many of you know the Baha'i religion or whatever they call it. It's a very peaceful religion, and it comes from Persia, from Iran. And somebody moved in my neighborhood, and I met that person this morning, and I said, hi, welcome to the neighborhood. And I asked him, what's your accent? And he said, oh, I'm from South America, but and I said, oh, I am from Israel. And he says, wow, I was born in Israel. But turns out that he doesn't have any connection to Israel. It's just the Baha'i people have a temple or 2 of them in Israel. It's all flowers. They are very peaceful people. They are for peace. And he was born there. And this whole thing is from, I think, Iranian origin. That's where it started. So welcome here, Persian princess. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you more. Michael, you're very welcome. Sabrina, finally, I was looking for you all the way from the top. Oh, yeah. Best explanation I've heard on the subject of neutrality and manifesting. Well, I didn't invent it. It's in the book. Art jobs. Shlomo, please tell me, teach me, how can I become rich? Okay, yeah. Oh, the way I already ran into that one. So is it repeating, or did I just go all the way to the end? Huh. No, you already said exactly the same thing. Strange that it came up again here. Hey, Harry Dev. Oh, you're from Facebook. You know what? I didn't even realize that I'm transmitting on Facebook. I forgot. I put Facebook there. But I can see on the comments here. Slavek. It's Slavek, yeah. That you're coming from Facebook. It shows me here. Actually, you can see it here. You see the little Facebook logo there. Interesting. I'm going to actually put all the different things, LinkedIn and Twitter. I'll transmit on all of them because I have the capacity to transmit up to 10 places. And it's quite... How are you, Harry Dev? Wow, what a name. Harry Dev Singh Khalsa. Are you in Poland right now? Yeah, I miss you. I didn't talk to you in a long time. I hope to see you soon. One more thing. How does consciousness gather information on what we want? How do we talk, show it what we want? Well, you don't have to talk or show or anything. Your consciousness knows exactly what you want. all the time. It's part of you. But the consciousness has its own goals and its own desires and its own end purpose and its own way how to get there. And really is looking at you to fit into what it wants, right? And every time you don't go in the way it wants, it hits you or it gives you a reward. So that's all it does. But you cannot, you don't need to tell your consciousness what you want. It knows exactly what. The trick is to align what you want with what your consciousness wants. Then all of a sudden you'll be in the flow. Everything will go for you. Everything will happen. If you can figure out what your consciousness wants, and I know the next question will be how we do that. If you can figure out what your consciousness wants, so to call it, it's not really, maybe wants is not the right word, and you go in that direction, then if you can implement your personal goals on that same track, they will happen. But if you're trying to implement your stuff, let's say your consciousness wants you to become a great musician because you were born with that gift. You can be a great pianist, right? So if you go in that direction, everything will go great for you. But you can implement other things. You can implement money, health, everything in there, and it will all come true. But if you all of a sudden decide to go and become a programmer, computer programmer, or a scientist, everything will go wrong for you. You will never be happy. You see? So it's not a question of consciousness knowing what you think. It's a question of you figuring out what consciousness thinks and then try to fit yourself in there and then achieve your other goals as part of the main goal your consciousness is desiring. Okay? Oh, he's a spammer. Okay. Well, you know what? I am okay with everybody. Like I said, I put my phone number and my personal phone number, I have only one phone, and my email on every social media site. I don't have any issues with that. Like I don't care about, I can live with everybody. Spammers, pendulums, you know, I enjoy all of them. All right, I see that we don't have any, oh, there's another question here. See, he's not a spammer, there you go. How can I get a name that is as cool as yours? It's a very interesting question. You know, it's funny, you read my mind, because I was going to tell you at the very beginning when you put the first comment that you should change your name. And then I said, you know, it's not my business really to tell you that. And here you say, how can I get a name? That's interesting. You somehow, you see, and I'm very serious. I'm not, you know, I'm not making this up. When I saw the first time when you put the first comment up there, I looked at the name and I had a problem. Like I not because it's a bad name or anything. It's kind of doesn't flow. And I was afraid that your life doesn't flow. So maybe you should change your name. Or at least add another name. Yeah. Okay. Persian Princess. Talk about how we can achieve the freedom that we all deserve and fight for it in Iran. How we can face this brutal darkness that we are experiencing. I can tell you one thing, and I will not go into details here. You know, I don't want to become political, even though I am very much. But you know, in the future reality that I know that I'm going to bring up, this will be taken care of. Okay? In a way that nobody can even dream about. In some ways, it will be like a word that you use here, very brutal, but not towards this side, but towards the other side. So remember mark my words. Like I said at the beginning, everything that I think about will happen. Okay. Artist is better. I like artists. This art, Jones, okay, I see the artist and the art somehow connect. Well, you know, talk to me, connect with me. I see that you joined the group there, I think, as well. So, we'll have a chance to talk. I think that I can contribute quite a bit for you, to you. It's just, my feeling. I'm telling you what I feel. It's all good. All right, my friends. I think this was one of the better Sundays we had, at least, the way I feel. All Sundays are good, but sometimes, I was in a dark place for a couple of months there, and probably some of you or maybe most of you sensed it, but I still came, because if I didn't come, it would just become darker for me. Germany, you always wanted to Germany. You wanted to go to Germany. When you were talking about Portugal, then you wanted to go to Germany. Yeah, we should talk. Hey, Daniel, I love you too. Like I said, you are an angel. And because you are an angel, God doesn't help you all the time because He figures you can help yourself. And you are trying very hard. Eventually, it will all work out, Last 3 years, wow, that's a long time. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. I will see you next Sunday, I guess, first on the live, and then we'll meet in the group. It will be a challenge, I never use Zoom for a group. I always use Zoom one-on-one, but, I'm quite good, technically speaking, I'm quite good. I can figure out most things. Thank you. Enjoy the week. And I'm sending you lots of spiritual vitality. It's not energy. Energy is a physical thing. I'm sending you spiritual vitality, which is not a physical thing. And you will feel it. You will feel it through the whole week and, through the whole year and through the whole and eternity. All right. All the best. And see you next Sunday, unless you connect with me during the week. Take care.